Because you'll find most clubs taking people from the university and not actually feeding back it. Because you'll find players who are in the university, they're willing to go to clubs, but how are the clubs going to help the university also? Because these are two-way traffic also. Yeah.
But varsity sides tend to lose a lot of players after every 3 or 4 years.
On Saturday 21st, 2015, 3 university sides were fighting in the relegation zone of the Kenya Cup. Catholic monks were unsuccessful in the fight, suffering the Choppers University of Nairobi's Mean Machine, and Kenyatta University's Black Blood narrowly escaped. A similar situation was experienced during the 2016-2017 Kenya Cup season. This time round, Machine lost their Kenya Cup status as Black Blood and Strathmore survived. The 2018-2019 season, however, was the worst for the varsity sides participating in the Kenya Cup, as 3 of the most dominant sides were all fighting relegation, with Mean Machine running out of steam early. Strathmore and Black Blood were pitted against each other in the final match day, with the loser surrendering his status. At the end of 80 minutes played at the Madaraka Estate grounds, Black Blood survived, as Strathmore suffered.
In 2019 season has been so fantastic, and actually we've competed to our level of best. As much as we are going back down, but it's by the will of God that we've gone down. But we had a challenge that has actually gone through most of the universities.
These are the big teams.
Sometimes you're thrown to the deep end. Sometimes life will throw you something crazy that you have to deal with. But as long as you understand just what the process takes and understand just what kind of battle you are fighting, you'll be able to understand what your victories are. You'll be able to count your victories, even when other people are looking at it as a failure.
Despite varsity sides being the biggest contributor of the finest rugby talents in the country, for many seasons they have been reduced to just talent incubation centers, with the big end teams that have financial power signing the best players.
For a scholarship student, we invest 1.5 million. By the time they're done, they've actually spent 1.5 million. Looking at the education alone is almost 1 M by the time they're doing, because they do 400,000 a year. The scholarship alone, because it's 80%, probably going down to about 1.5, but there's also medical insurance that we take care of them when they go to hotels.
According to the World Rugby Handbook Regulation 4.7.6 on status of players and contract for material benefit, the number of years a player has spent in development programs of the current union is a key component of calculations. The regulation recognizes that there is a defined period in which union invests in players' development, and this is deemed to be between the age of 17 and 23.
Player wants to transfer from a university to another club. It's a very simple process. There's a transfer fee which is payable, and remember the transfer fee is a maximum. So the clubs can agree. I know nowadays we're doing 50,000 or 100,000 or even 10,000, depending on how long you've played for the club, whether you're an international player or not. So if you decide to sell Wahinya, you'll make more money as KU, but I don't think you'll sell him. We don't distinguish between university sides and other sides. We treat the clubs the same way, because now if you create a special class of membership, again it's difficult.
Proper formulated educational scholarship have in the past benefited university sides. A case in study being Strathmore University rugby side Strathmore Leos that provided a good number of players to the national team before massive exodus costed them their Kenya Cup status.
For a university, it's a normal thing. Players will leave. I think for us, we just have to come up with ways of making sure we hold on to them longer, or if they leave, we get compensated very well.
According to the Kenya Rugby Regulations on Transfer Rule 14.9 states that a player who have moved from their clubs to a learning institution for the purpose of studying can play for the institution until completion of his or her studies, after which the player shall return back to his or her club unless a full transfer has been negotiated during the transfer windows. This, however, is a situation that rarely happens in the Kenyan scene, owing to poor infrastructure and numerous challenges that face the varsity sides.
What we need to do is for the clubs to relook at the regulations and the transfers, to look at best practice in other areas. I've seen some of the clubs who have academy players are now coming and registering the academy players separately. Because if you invest in the development of a particular player, even from age grade level, then you suffer a bigger loss when you lose him. And even in World Rugby rules, there's a way that compensation can happen. So maybe From next season, we'll start to see that in effect. But again, care is here to help all the clubs.
Different sports associations globally have with time introduced transfer rules that control team spending but still maintain the competitiveness in their respective leagues. To even the playing field, the National Basketball Association (NBA) introduced the annual draft lottery, in which teams who missed the playoffs the previous year participate in an exercise to obtain college basketballers and other eligible players. The team with the worst record has the best chance to obtain a high draft pick. It is evident varsity rugby has to be credited for the ever-improving standards of our rugby leagues, and more should be done to protect our varsity sides from going extinct. Peter Mwaura, Dwindling Fortunes, QTV.